Oh, damn. I totally muted myself and okay, so I better start this again. Just noticed that I had it muted. Okay. Yeah, so today, gonna be a continuation from the previous, last three streams. This is part four. And so today we will be doing a comps analysis. So yesterday, we had identified in a research report published by a third party on Oricon's internal investor relations website. Excuse me, I had a cough that didn't come out. Okay. So yeah, they listed certain companies with comparable, that were comps, right? And then I found the most interesting ones with the highest ROE, highest simple ROIC, and lean ROIC according to our definition, and create a small list. Not all 10. I did ones that even have higher ROEs and ROICs than the company, just to get a sense of what are the comps. And yeah, today we're just gonna go through them and see, what these other companies do, and because, the idea is Oricon has this reputation of being a company that provides reputable ranking lists. And so if there's literally 10 competitors, that's not a good thing, right? Like, for example, Billboard. We only need one Billboard ranking system, right, for music. Or we only need like one movie ranking, like Rotten Tomatoes, one IMDb. We don't need that many, right? And it's usually the top one or two that kind of take the lion's share of the market share. So what I want to figure out is who are the true competitors of Oricon, or if Oricon operates in a niche, right? Because one thing I want to figure out is, can they infinitely increase their ranking list, right? Or will they have troubles increasing the amount of ranking lists that they have, right? So that's what we're going to try to do today. One company that came up quite a few times in the ROE, simple ROIC, and the ROIC is 2371 Kakaku. So let's start off with that one because that one seems the most promising. Okay, drop to as low as 1300. Post-COVID 1300 up to 3.8k, all the way back down to its previous low, and then back up and doubles. December 2023, drop to a low 1600. April drops to a low of 2.1k, so it didn't even drop to its previous low. So 2600 to 3800, 1200 difference, 1240%. You have roughly a 50% increase potential to its previous high. Description: Kakaku.com, together with its subsidiaries, engages in the provision of purchase support, restaurant review, and other services in Japan. The company operates Kakaku.com that provides prices, specifications, and user reviews on various products and services, such as computers, home appliances, fashion, interior goods, and finance communications. And Tabelog. Oh, they own Tabelog. A restaurant search and reservation website. It also operates Kyushu, Box, and JobQ. I'm very interested because they own Tabelog, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. JobQ, job classified website. Smatey, a residential real estate website. For Travel, a travel review and comparison site. Samedi, an online travel site. Ikato, an online travel information media website. Bus Comparison Navi, a comparison search site for nationwide express buses and night buses. And bus tours and low price trips, a price comparison site for domestic travel and airline tickets. Okay, cool. Let's take a look at the profitability. Wow. Very nice. But it's gone down. It's gone down from a high of 49% down to the current 39. Still healthy margins, but curious why it went down. Okay, this SG&A seems to provide the answer. So SG&A is increasing. The income margin is still pretty high. Increasing cash balance. Uses debt, but has been paying down debt. I mean, they could pay down all of it, technically. Trading at growth multiples previously. 12 times, 11 times priced. Okay. What's LTM? Okay. Okay, growth multiples. RIC. Okay, healthy RIC. Let's take a look at income statement. So an increase 20 billion, 25 billion, a little over half in 7 years. 2017. What's the share price in 2017? I'm curious. Let's look at the multiple real quick. Sanity check. 23 times earnings, 13 times EBIT. Okay. 2017. 2400 went to as high as 3900. So 2021. What are the multiples in 2021? Very growth-like. Okay, interesting. So, okay. In yesterday's stream, I actually touched upon Tabelog in terms of ranking system. So Tabelog is the Michelin equivalent guide to restaurants in Japan. So there's the Michelin Star Guide, which is an international brand, which is created by Michelin Tire, right? The idea behind Michelin rankings is to tell people, to get people to drive more, right? Because the Michelin tires, right? So the idea when they first started the Michelin Guide is to provide people with a guide on what restaurants is it worthwhile for people to drive long distances or go on a road trip just for a restaurant, right? And then a 3 Michelin Star Guide. 3 Michelin star restaurant is a restaurant you would actually be willing to take a flight to that country just to try that restaurant. Okay, so over time, right, people realize that, or for the common layman, let's say, Michelin star seems to be a little bit too fussy, and a lot of people cannot taste the quality that is kind of being mentioned. Right, and how Michelin Guide works is that you have Michelin reviewers, food reviewers, go to these restaurants as secret reviewers, like secret customers. They don't know who, well, supposedly they don't know who the reviewers are, and they experience the restaurant and they give an unbiased review, let's say, to that restaurant. So over time, Michelin Guide was the gold standard, right? And then in Japan, they created something called Tabelog. What is Tabelog? Tabelog is different from Michelin Guide is that they don't have food reviewers, like professional food reviewers or, certain connoisseurs try out a restaurant. They actually rank restaurants based off of real reviews from people, right? So, these are real people saying, hey, I really enjoyed this restaurant, right? And then and they have 3 different rankings. They have gold, silver, and bronze. They have a set limit in how many gold, silver, and bronze that are awarded every single year. But rest assured is the gold restaurants are essentially similar to 3 Michelin star restaurants in their basically prestige, right? And these are the top, basically the top restaurants in Japan. So Kakaku owning Tabelog, I never knew that until today, is very interesting in that they basically own a Michelin star guide equivalent to the restaurant industry. Okay. So let's take a look into Kakaku a little bit more. and why it trades at a, yeah, what's one thing we got to figure out? We have to figure out why it trades at a higher multiple than Oricon, right? What is it about their business model allows investors to feel like they're worthy of that growth multiple? So let's try to figure that out. They have an English site, that's nice. Oh, what's their market cap? 5 billion. 5 billion. And then they have positive cash. Quite a bit of cash. Minus like 38. So it's like 470-ish. Enterprise value. Somewhere around that. Okay. So their full year operating margin is meeting their forecasted margin. Actually pretty close. What they forecast and what the actual results are pretty close. And remember earlier I said, why is it that their operating margin has gone down? Because we know that the SG&A has gone up. So I have to figure out why SG&A has gone up as well for this company. So let's see here. So personnel expenses have been going down. Commissions have been going up. So why is that? Let me just create a note page real quick. Let's see. If we want to create a Kakaku, we'll do so later. What's Kakaku's ticker? 2371. So one is commissions, another is advertising. So they increase ad spend quite substantially. Sales ratio. So hold on, let's see here. So over here, this is like 30% plus that. So 57.5% is SG&A over here. And then over here, this is 31, this is 52%, and then over here, this is 58%. So really ramping up advertising spend here. So this might not be a bad thing, right? Because as I noted before for Oricon, right? Like in Japan, the tax rate is pretty high. It's at 30%. All right, so if you think about it from the perspective of spending money ahead of time for growth, right? Like, if that helps them attain like a higher market share or grow the amount of, okay, there's a couple of things, a couple ideas in my head, right? So let's say Tabelog, right? I know it as being, I'm not exactly sure what the market share is amongst people who like fine dining or higher end food. So in Japan, maybe I'm pretty sure the top 2 market share are taken by Tabelog and Michelin Star Guide. So the idea would be, okay, given the idea is we only need 1 or 2 of these ranking systems, right? Or most people would just rely on 1 or 2 of these ranking systems and make an informed decision, right? So increasing marketing to ensure you maintain in the view of consumers that number 1 or 2 spot is rather important, right? So if spending more marketing allows them to secure that position, then that's not a bad use of capital, in my opinion. So what you don't want to see is, for example, let's see, what was an example? So, for example, Wantedly, which is a company I looked at previously, that was actually decreasing its marketing spend, but it had really high margins, somewhere in like the 30-40% range, right? And it seemed like, okay, if you're going to be doing something like a LinkedIn model, you want to grab as much market share as possible, right? Because every dollar that you maintain as income, you have to pay 30% to the government, right? So any marketing spend, you're getting essentially like a 30%. No, I wouldn't call it a 30% discount. But you rather not be a LinkedIn with 5% market share and carve out a niche. You'd rather be a LinkedIn with like a 30% market share, if that makes sense, right? And if you're experiencing, rapid and exponential growth in sales revenue, you kind of have a window of opportunity where people are like, oh, I see Wantedly as this new up and comer underdog, who's taking, who's basically becoming the LinkedIn of Japan, right? So what I'm going with this is why that's not a bad idea for Kakaku in their SG&A, in their marketing expense, is that they could be increasing their marketing expenditure in order to, be the top dog, essentially. Yeah. Advertising, right? They really ramped it up this period. Commissions. So do they have sales agents? Hello, I've been meaning to check one of these streams out. Doing a good job. Keep it up. Thank you. Haley's Comet 41. Thank you very much. Please check in more often. Oh, full disclosure, yes, I do have a starter position in Wantedly, right? And this can be a bigger position in the future too. I just need more conviction. I need to do more work on Wantedly, but I do own a position in Wantedly. Full disclosure, not investment advice, not do your own due diligence. Nothing I say is please see the help of professional financial advisor, right? The disclaimer is in the description of the video. So yeah. Yeah, so Leonard, you mean Wantedly, right? Yeah, so it's growing, but it's growing really slowly. In fact, the increase in user growth is increasing at a declining rate. So it's not that it's not growing, it's just increasing at a declining rate. And part of it is also because they've been reducing their marketing spend, which I think is retarded, right? So, yeah, so that's the part I'm not uncomfortable with. But I do like the fact that it's cheap, it's growing its cash balance, and it's highly profitable, right? And if management were to flip the script and actually be more aggressive with their marketing, or if Wantedly were to, expand its, its range of jobs that it can cater to, or just, be more aggressive marketing and exposure wise, I think that they can do a really good job. I mean, they're already doing a really good job with their existing user base. So it's a matter of how do they tap into a larger user base, right? And I think that that's something that's easier said. It's easier to do than having a business model that's profitable. So right now they already have a business model that's profitable. It's how do they scale it further? That's a question. And I think the easiest thing right now is obviously ad spend. Second thing to do is to be creative with your ways of reaching out to the younger audience, which is their core demographic, which is young adults, people who have just graduated, people who want a more personalized hiring approach, or hiring social media for example. And that's what Wantedly does. Yeah. I don't know the answer to that, Leonard. It could be one or the other. That I have not figured it out. It could be one or the other. They could be reducing marketing spend because they don't see the growth potential in it, or their returns. They don't see the returns in the marketing expenditure. That could be the case. Yeah, but that's why it's starter position right now. Until I get conviction, of which direction that is, then yeah. But yeah, it's worth it as a starter position for me right now. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at what they have. So they have a couple categories. They have Kakaku.com, Tabelog. Oh, I forgot to change. Technically, I should change the ticker right now because I'm technically not looking at Oricon. I'm looking at Oricon comps. So technically, I should change this to Kakaku. And this is 2371. Change that. Oh, cool. You actually used wantedly for your last two job changes. See, that's interesting, right? I didn't expect that to happen in our chat. Haley's comment, are you based in Japan right now, or are you because I remember they had a Singapore website. So yeah. Wait, why does it not count if you're foreign? Like if you're a foreigner in Japan and you use wantedly, I think that counts. Okay, let's take a look at the segments here. So we have Kakaku.com, Tabelog, which is the biggest revenue driver, Kyujin Box, Incubation. Is that some type of VC thing? Interesting. Revenues increased 20%, but segment income only increased 9%. No, but on an annual basis, 20% increased 22%. So that's good. Tokyo, okay. Both are IT related. Yeah, that's all actually a job that they target. Oh, I see. Yeah, I agree. That's a small town. But then the thing is, why did you pick Wanderly instead of like the other competitors? Like, why not LinkedIn? Why not? I don't even know what other HR websites are more attractive to foreigners. Like Indeed. I know that a Japanese HR company owns Indeed, which is publicly traded. A Japanese company that owns Indeed. Why did you not go with the other ones? And the fact that the last two jobs you looked at were from Wantedly says something, I think. But small sample size. You're one individual, right? So, but that's pretty cool that they didn't want to bother with agents. Okay, so if not Wantedly, what would have been the number 2 or number 3 website that you would have gone with, right? Kyujin is a competitor to Wantedly. Kyujin. Cool, I'll look into that. I'm actually not sure what these other websites are. I need to actually look into them a little bit. Kakaku.com. Revenue increase across all business segment also rose. Segment profit also rose. Segment profit margin 50%, 54%, lows 40% in one period. Impairment losses of 580 yen were recorded mainly on intangible assets and goodwill related to business of Pathy Inc. Excluding this impact. Okay, so they impaired an acquisition, potentially. Shopping, service, advertising, insurance. Let me just look at that real quick. Kakaku.com. What is this? Huh, interesting. What exactly did they do? Are they like a Craigslist? Hold on. We want everyone to feel glad they bought it. Okay. me a sec. Kakaku. What do they do? Is a Japanese price comparison and product information site. It doesn't sell products directly, but allows users to compare prices, specs, and user reviews from various retailers and service providers for a wide range of items like electronics, home appliances, fashion, and more. Essentially, it helps consumers find the best deals. Okay. Kakaku aggregates prices from different online retailers. So this is like ShopBot in Canada and in the US maybe. Okay, so they run a ShopBot. Interesting. So laptops, appliances, cameras, smartphones, SIM card services, use card. Okay, seems like there is a new job change agency popping up every week, so low trust. Price comparison site. Use it for computer parts. Type in the product and it lists the price on Amazon, local retailers, etc. Cool. Goes to Nintendo Switch 2. Let's do that. Can you do English? Protective case. Interesting. They don't have the game console? Let's do something else. What is Sony? Yes, let's do their headphones. See more price comparisons. 5,000 yen, different colors, different websites. Number 1, because they're 1 yen cheaper. They're 1 yen cheaper, so they're number 1. Jesus. That's hilarious. Wow, okay. That's hilarious. Okay, I mean... Yep. Cool, I see it in action now. View in set 57 stores. Hey, in Japan, do they do price matching? Like they do in the West? Because this seems like an infinite loop of me just like every day, you know, lowering it by 1 yen, you know, like type of thing. And that could get kind of tedious, right? Which is here, what happens is people just do price matching. So like everyone just has the same price. There's no need to do this type of bull crap. Yeah. So let's see, shopping, revenues, service revenues, advertising revenues. Shopping, both durables and consumables recorded revenue growth. Durables profit from continued strong demand for personal computers. So how do they generate revenue from this business model though? Because it's just price comparison, but then how do they make... Okay, Kakaku.com acts as an intermediary directing users to the website of other retailers where they can make actual purchase. So how do they make money? How do they make money? Charging retailers and manufacturers for user clicks and also by providing agency services for internal service providers and insurance companies. Tab log and something else. Click-through fees. A fee each time a user clicks a link on their site to visit a retailer's website. They also earn revenue by acting as agents for internet service providers and insurance companies, facilitating user applications for these services. Facilitating user applications, so you can apply on their Kakaku website, unless that's a different service. Service. While favorable trends in personal finance and telecom have normalized, the telecom segment continues to show solid performance supported by steady growth in broadband comparison. So durables, consumables, other durables. Personal finance, telecom, automotive. Advertising. Continued double-digit growth thanks to an increase in ad placements from new advertisers to telecom carriers in addition to consumer electronics manufacturers. The pace of revenue growth is decelerating. Big box retailers will, Yodobashi, Big Camera, etc. will haggle. So you can walk into Yodobashi and Big Camera and actually like haggle with them for a lower price. You don't even have to. Big box retailers will price match. So there's Yodobashi and Big Camera not price match, but you just have to haggle with them for a lower price. I think the 1 yen difference does at least say that users of the site do want to jockey for that valuable first. I know, yeah. I mean, that makes sense, right? Because if you lower by 1 yen and you get the top spot, that's directly, you know, that gives you the top spot, right? Without much ad spend, if you think about it. Okay, revenue growth driven by restaurant reservations. Segment profit declined temporarily due to marketing initiatives associated with Tabelog's 20th anniversary. So I wonder if the business model for Tabelog is once people make restaurant reservations, the restaurant pays a fee, a small fee. The number of contracted restaurants increased both for restaurant advertising and restaurant reservation. The number of online reservations reached an all-time high for Q4. So restaurant advertising, number of restaurants, end of quarter, and average revenue per user. So 56,000 restaurants were advertising. Average revenue per user also increased year over year. Yeah, each quarter increased slightly. 1,000 yen. So they spent 23,000 yen, which is equivalent. 10,000 yen is $100, right? So 230 bucks. In CAD, of course. In USD, probably like 170, 180, something like that. Restaurant reservations, number of restaurants end of quarter. So restaurant reservations have increased. Number of restaurants in a quarter and average revenue per user. What does that mean? Oh, okay. Okay, so number of reservations increased. So they probably charge money per reservation that is complete through their website. And then each restaurant is also a user. So yeah, they have to pay. So if we look quarter per quarter, the average user has been paying more because more reservations have been going through that website. Yeah. Number of online reservations, quarterly total. Okay, Haley's comment said, price matching, maybe not, but they will meet and lower prices if you bring in proof. Usually so in a way, yeah, price matching. Okay, got it. So it's not written in stone, but like if you haggle, you can bring in the price like, hey, I can get it from here for a lower price and be like, this is what I saw at Kakaku.com type stuff, right? Okay. This Kakaku seems like a very good business. It is just a bit expensive. It could be. Well, I've yet to determine that, right? But if you have the top spot as the go-to guide for restaurants, and you just always use Tabelog to make your reservations, then the number of restaurant reservations is going to continue to go up. The number of ARPU will continue to go up unless restaurants are kind of smart in how they can circumvent that. Yeah, and because the number of reservations are increasing, this is a positive cycle. And because the number of reservations are increasing, this also means that they have probably an increase in visitors. And because they have more visitors, you have more restaurants willing to advertise on that website, right? It's a positive, fulfilling cycle, right? We'll gladly buy it if it has a sub 20 PE. What is the multiple? I don't think it was that high. I mean, it could hit that, honestly. Pretty. I mean, next 12 months is not that high either. So, take a look at the overview. It can definitely get to sub 20 PE. Yeah. Yeah. If it's at 25 times, 26. Well, if at 26 is 26 times, then at 2000 is around 20 times, right? And then at here it drops to 16 times. So it actually dropped to 16 times last year. Oh, and then in April it dropped to 20 times. I will say that the Tabelog likely is a very... Okay, so Haley's comment, since you're in Japan. Have you used Tabelog yourself? And what is the kind of population, what's the consensus amongst people you've engaged with using Tabelog? Is it kind of like the go-to website you use to make dinner reservations? I just want to find out from your perspective what that scenario is in Japan. And given you work in IT, I'm pretty sure that fine dining is probably within your budget. Sorry to make that assumption, but like, yeah, you and your colleagues probably are able to live it up every now and then, right? So Tabelog is probably, you are the target customer. Anyone in IT probably. It is the go-to. Nice. What would you say is a number 2 or number 3, and how far away are they? When picking a place to go with friends, especially JP friends, they almost always send a Tabelog link. Yeah, that's dope. That's dope as fuck. So yeah, that already points to that. Number of online reservations, quarterly total, million persons. Yeah, so fiscal year 2024 went from 18 million up to 30 million. So they've increased like 60% almost. Yeah, and Q3 hits 30 million. Q4, but yeah, continuous climb in number of reservations. Pellet Stove. Yeah, welcome Pellet Stove. Haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back. So much so that you can't think of number 2. Yahoo probably. Okay. Yeah. So that's good. So this confirms my suspicion that this is a gold standard. So you have to think about it, like, what is a business of this quality worth, right? If we do a sum of parts analysis, is like, if we value just Tabelog by itself, given its market leadership, it seems like they probably have, like, would you say it's fair to say that Tabelog has like an 80-90% market share basically, right? If people are sending Tabelog links, right, then it becomes like a habitual thing. It's not, right? It's a habitual behavior, right? Whereas even in the West, right, I'll actually call a restaurant to make a reservation, right? I think over here we don't have something like that. I mean, sometimes when you search up restaurants locally, they will send you to a website where you can make a dinner reservation at certain time frames, yada yada yada. But it's nothing in the West, at least in Canada, that I know of, has this type of stickiness or have this habitual thing where it's like, oh, let's send a Tabelog link, right? It's not like that over here. Over here, it's like, oh, let's make a dinner reservation, but we'll make a phone call, right? So for you to have a phone call replacement and everyone is habitually doing something like that, it becomes like a habit, right? Then eventually the number of users is going to just continue to increase, right? And this 30 million people is massive. Like if you look at Japan's population, I think it's 100 something. 124 in 2023. It's probably a little bit lower now. But yeah, that's 120 million, like literally a quarter of Japan's population. Well, that's not accurate because there's probably repeat customers here, right? So that's probably not that accurate. Yeah, and then not everyone eats out, and also certain restaurants you wouldn't have to make a dinner reservation for. You would just have to wait in line. So some really like high-end restaurants, you would just like wait, some places you have to wait in line for 10 minutes, 30 minutes, and then some really popular ones 30 minutes probably, right? And because they're so popular, they probably don't even need this online reservation system potentially. But yeah, that's cool. Yeah, please, if you tune in the future, please keep me up to date on Tabelog's habitual type of influence in Japan every now and then. That'd be nice. The number of online reservations remains steady at around 4,000 persons per day. A WeChat mini program further enhances convenience for inbound travelers from China and expands opportunities for restaurants to attract. That's even better. So not only are they tapping into a domestic customer base, they're tapping into an international. So this is WeChat. So WeChat's mainly Chinese people. But yeah, not just 120 million in Japan population, but you're tapping into, well, even though China has over 1 billion population, it's not like everyone's going to travel to Japan all at once, right? So, and not a lot of them can even afford to travel to Japan, given the disparity between the wealth gap, sorry. But this is good to know, meaning like you have foreign travelers that also get included in this count, right? So the potential is not, like, it can definitely reach, 100 million, right? If you think about it in terms of another metric I want to look at is what are the number of unique visitors, right? If you think about unique visitors, right, and you think about, like, I'm sure for you, Haley's comment that, well, I'm not sure, right? But for your income potential and your colleagues, you guys probably go to some type of Tabelog reservation maybe once a month, or once every 2 months, at least, right? You guys, I don't know what you guys, I know in Japan every Friday, sometimes some work cultures require you guys to go out to like drink and maintain relationships with your colleagues, that type of stuff, right? So it might be literally every single week. So 4 times a month times, or once a week times 52 weeks, not that extreme. But like if 1 year you go anywhere between, let's say every 2 weeks would be like around 20 times, 26 times, and then, every week would be, 52 times, probably not extreme. So you're probably going at least 10 to like 40 times a year, right? So if you use that, yeah, the potential of online reservations is a lot higher than the actual population, given some people will go a lot. Tabelog ranking is very popular among expensive restaurants in Chinese social media such as Xiaohongshu. So nice. Is Haley your baby's name? No worries. You can always tune back in. That's the great thing about live streams. You can always click back in time and look at what I said. So no worries. So Leonard, that's really good to know that on Xiaohongshu they would use Tabelog rankings. So is that focused on? Are there Tabelog rankings for Chinese restaurants? Which I don't think is the case. It could be, but is that? Yeah, Redbook. Yeah, Xiaohongshu is Redbook. Like basically Instagram for China, basically. Or is that on Chinese social media for people traveling to Japan? I think that's the case. Correct? Just correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, so the number of online reservations remains steady at around 4,000 persons per day, and WeChat mini program further enhances convenience for inbound travelers from China and expands opportunities for restaurants to attract customers. I mean, they could also do this for Redbook too, right? Like create a mini program. I don't know if it's possible, but maybe it's possible. Oh, you have to pay. Search and choose a restaurant. Pay with WeChat Pay. Show confirmation. You have to pay to make a reservation? A deposit of 1,200 yen per group is required. For a fixed course reservation scheduled to launch this summer, advance payment of the course fee will be available via WeChat Pay. I see. Thank you for that clarification, Leonard. Yes, that I also get to. It's like because these reviews are based off of real people having, from the spectrum of people who aren't very fussy with eating to people being very fussy with eating, and it's a collective rating from those people in determining who are the gold, silver, and bronze. I even get the sense that Tabelog is kind of like the new thing that is more reflective of what the people think is best. And I think that's what makes it very unique, and more trustworthy, right? because when someone gives me a wine, be like, oh, I get hints of this, yada yada yada, and it's like a, $200, $300 bottle of wine. Like I literally am not good enough in my taste bud region to discern, right? Yeah, 4 out of 5 stars, very high. Hey, so I see that they have to charge 1,200 yen in the WeChat mini app. Do they charge money for the Tabelog link to make a reservation in Japan, Haley? Right? Or is this mainly for tourists? Because from when I watched Jiro's Dream of Sushi, for anyone, if you know, Jiro's Dream of Sushi is a documentary on 3 Michelin star Jiro's restaurant. He's kind of known as one of the goats of Edomae sushi. And in the in the documentary, it stated that tourists a lot of times will flake. They stop accepting reservations by tourists, particularly Western tourists, because they would make a reservation and not show up, right? And if you think about the preparation for Edomae sushi, is that it literally takes a long time to age ingredients, right? And so if you flake and I've prepared my ingredients for you to come visit, that's highly disrespectful. So they stopped taking reservations from tourists altogether, and you can only make a reservation if a domestic individual makes a reservation, right? Because domestic clients will show up if they say they're going to show up. The follow through rate is really high, right? So is this 1,200 yen charged to people who are, because it's WeChat mini program, so then this would be charged to Chinese tourists, right? Do they charge local people as well? Yeah, it seems like Japanese will tend to underrate restaurants. Yeah, so Haley, do they charge 1,200 yen to locals as well? So see, number of inbound reservations per day, it has gone up substantially and has stayed pretty high. See, I would like to know the split between domestic reservations and like tourists. I wonder if they can figure that out. Obviously, if it's from a WeChat account, that's most likely a tourist. Okay, so you never paid to use Tableau. Okay, so this is something you pay. Yeah, okay, which is in line with my assumption there, in that because tourists will more likely to flake, and domestic clienteles are way more respectful of that, then they're charging tourists for the right to make a reservation. Hey, Leonard, do you know if that 1,200 is then netted onto your actual bill when you do arrive? And is this only charged if you don't actually show up? Okay, so revenue continued to grow at a higher rate. Segment profit declined due to investments aimed at enhancing Kyujin box. So this is a different business. Revenue continued to grow at a high rate. Segment profit declined due to investments aimed at enhancing brand awareness and strengthening sales capabilities. Okay, so it took a nosedive, 35, 40 something percent, 50%, all the way down to 13. Revenues have gone up. Is it because they want to increase marketing? The number of monthly users reached a record high. Strengthened collaboration with agencies contributed to sustain high revenue per user. I just checked. It gets charged if you don't show up. If you show up, it gets returned. Okay, cool. Yeah. Nice. Awesome. Yeah, so that's good because that also protects, protects restaurants from, preparing for someone to come and not come, right? Like I do sympathize with that because literally they have to wake up in the morning, go to Toyosu Market and order ingredients, right? If you're expected to have a full house, right? It'd be completely 100% occupancy and people don't show up. You're going to be paying for ingredients for no reason, right? So yeah, the number of monthly users, okay, monthly users, quarterly average. So it dropped to 9.3 and it went up at 11. So the question is, did they have to spend this much? Basically, how much is this? The differential here is around 600 million yen, so $6 million. Did they spend $6 million to get 2 million users? Interesting. Revenue per user. Oh, revenue per user is really high. Really high. So despite monthly users dropping in Q3 because revenue per user was so high, revenues actually increased. Okay, let's look at what Kyujin box is because I don't have a clue what that is. Oh, thanks for checking, by the way, Leonard. Really appreciate you looking into that. Home. Ekado. Which one's Kyujin box here? Kyujin box. Is that it? $2 million item. What is this? A 2 million. Oh, this is an HR website. Okay. So 20 million. Okay, let me just. Domestic largest. Is it 2 million applications? I don't know how to decipher this. I know the Chinese behind it, but don't really know the exact kanji definition. The largest number of job postings in Japan with, okay, no, that means 20 million. They have 20 million job postings. It's easy to search for full-time or part-time jobs based on your specific requirements. So yes, this would compete with Wantedly. So they have the most postings. No experience necessary. Closed on weekends and holidays. Remote work. Working 2 jobs is okay. Okay. Free clothing. I mean, why would you? Okay. No educational background required. Short-term one-off bonuses. Seniors. Okay, so this might not target the same demographic as, based off what they've shown on the front page, this might not target the same customer base as Wantedly. Wantedly does like IT work, finance work. This seems for like entry-level jobs potentially. I feel like Wantedly would. Hey Haley, I'm just gonna call you Haley. Sorry, you might you might be a dude, or there's a 90-something% chance you're a dude. Given my audiences are, I don't have many female audience members, but I feel, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like Wantedly would target you specifically a lot better because of. Okay, do you see the value in Wantedly's more personal approach to showing, like, because when you look in a Wantedly post, right, you'll see who are the people that you'll be working with, who the department heads are, who's the CEO, who are the people on your team, yada, yada, yada. And you see pictures of the actual workplace, right? So that gives you a vibe of what your work relations, what the work culture or work environment is going to look like, right? This seems like it's for like, it's going to be combined with a lot of entry-level jobs, so it doesn't feel targeted towards you. So would you say that Wantedly has an advantage in this scenario? Some part-time work and low pay make employees purchase their own uniforms. Geez, that's fucking retarded. Not only have to work with you, I have to buy my own uniform? That's nah. When I got my first part-time job as working at the source, they gave me my work uniform and they paid me $2 every week, I think, for laundry, to do laundry. It's kind of nice, you know. Because it's not much work. I mean, I just throw in my work clothes with my normal clothes to wash them, right? So it's nice that I got like a weekly stipend of $2 or something like that. So full-time work, part-time work. Yeah, I wanted to try to promote this idea of casual interview where you can meet and greet with someone from the company before officially applying. Yeah. Which I think is way more appealing. I think that's more appealing to the younger people, I feel, right? Who are all about vibes, right? You know, we're about vibes these days, right? So, you know what? Let's look at it for software engineer jobs. Soft engineer, machine learning, Hokkaido, senior software engineer, in cabin, woven by Toyota. Yeah, so this is a very standard, you know, like this is something you would see in Indeed, right? This is very non-personal. You see what we are, what we're looking for. It's all text, right? It's all the fucking text. This doesn't really make me want to do anything, you know? So I would give Wantedly the upper hand here. Whereas like for a job like 7-Eleven, Wantedly doesn't really do much because like what, you're gonna have some photos of who's the store manager, who probably doesn't want their photo taken, right? Or other part-timers at 7-Eleven who also don't want their photos taken, right? But you're gonna show like pictures of what it's like to work at 7-Eleven. Like, what is that? Yeah. When I watch like J dramas, right, where people do job interviews, it's like literally a panel, like a long ass table with like 4 or 5 execs, right, and you have one chair in front. Did you have to do one of those? Those look so damn, how do I call it? So stressful, I would think. Yeah. Wonderly has a better UI. See, that's important to me. It's like having a good UI. Like this just looks like something you find off of Indeed, and doesn't really isn't very differentiated across other ones. Wonder what will happen to all those job sites once AI starts to replace 80% of white collar jobs. Yeah. Well, I think this website would also has a lot of blue collar work, right? So, yeah, cool. I still feel like. Oh, look at that! That's hilarious. This is Oricon. This is an Oricon trademark. Literally an Oricon trademark. They are number one in customer satisfaction. Is it? Is it? That's fucking hilarious. That is fucking hilarious. Customer satisfaction, Oricon number one. Yeah. So this company literally played Oricon for this trademark. That's hilarious. As we speak, this is the first time I've seen Oricon's trademark being used, but they literally paid to use this. I wouldn't be surprised if Oricon made this advertisement because this says new advertisement released. So let's see. This looks like an actor, well-known Japanese actor maybe. Job box knows that everyone is looking for work. That's part-time, temporary, or full-time. Okay, yeah. They do a spectrum. Let's just watch this website. It's kind of hilarious. It might have been made by Oricon themselves. Why is it not letting me play it? Give me 1 second. My speakers aren't turned on right now. Give me 1 second. Okay. Let me get some water, guys. Real quick. One guy is a designated grumpy old man. Was that you? Were you designated for that role? Famous actor. Okay.
そんな人々に寄り添いたいボックスがあります。ボックス、これです。なんかいろいろ詰まってますよ。あなたの明日が詰まってる。求人ボックスで見つけてください。
Okay, I mean, all this commercial shows is that, hey, we have a big budget to hire this famous actor, to be part of our commercial. Because we're able to pay for this famous actor to be part of our 30-second commercial, that means we're reputable. That's all this says. Like, I don't see any differentiation of like anything that they do that is, that is really different, So cool. I don't need to look into that any further. Yeah. Okay, revenue continued to grow at a high rate. Segment profit declined due to investments aiming at enhancing brand awareness. So literally hiring that actor, right? Like, think about the budget. May have been 600 million yen, right? The difference is 600 million yen. So maybe they paid that actor, I don't know how much, to appear in a 30-second commercial. The number of monthly users reached a record new high. Strength and collaboration with agencies contributed to sustain high revenue per user. To account for monthly fluctuations, the number of monthly users will be shown as a quarterly average. Okay. Revenue from travel, incubations. Revenue from travel transportation domain increased, while the real estate domain continued to experience a declining trend. So the real estate, travel, transportation, lifestyle, entertainment. But what exactly are these segments, though? What exactly do these ones do? Segment income margin around pretty high. So, don't know. What is incubation? So this would be real estate, right? Sumaiti. Rental, condos, apartments. Buy, sell, lend. Okay, so this is just real estate's portal. But should be high margin if you get enough people. Cool. Travel and transportation. So I remember in the description they said something. Okay, so residential real estate website for travel, a travel review and comparison website, Sumiti, an online travel site, Smitey and Sumiti, an online travel site, Icado, an online travel information website, bus comparison website. Okay, I see. So, what is the business model here? So essentially, all these are websites where they have a listing. They don't run any of it, right? It's all directory. So they make money by directing traffic is their business model, right? So they focus on those type of businesses where, like, so for example, Tabelog is directing people to restaurants. Kyujinbox directing people to jobs. Real estate, directing people to either if you're renting, you're buying, leasing, travel, like to travel agencies, lifestyle entertainment, maybe, I don't know, like if you go to a robo show in Japan, go to Disneyland, go to Universal Studios, maybe they also get that. So they're in the redirecting business, essentially. Yeah, I just thought of something that was really funny. Like, if Oricon makes a, like, oh, what are the top dinner reservations? It's gonna be definitely this one, right? definitely going to be Tabelog, and Tabelog is such ingrained in the consumer psyche in Japan that there's no need to even receive the reward. There's no additional benefit of having an Oricon #1 badge because it's undisputed #1, right? So one thing I think about for Oricon is that you have to pick a more competitive industry where there are competitors 1 through 10, right? For industries where there's like monopoly, when there's like a clear winner, you can't have a ranking, or it's very difficult to have a ranking, right? Or even having the ranking, the #1 person will know that they're #1 and not pay for it, right? There's no point. Whereas for something like finding a job, that's less clear. It's less clear who are the top dogs, right? Which is why having an Oricon, thing is more useful. Yeah. So that's an extraction I have from that. Yeah, we're having that. Yeah, interesting. Real estate. Revenues increasing year to year, kind of flat. Margins are quite high. Yeah, and these are all high margin businesses, right? Because you're just in the business of redirecting traffic, right? You don't have a product. You're just relying on customer flows and redirection. Although if we think lowly of the average consumer, rightfully so, then they don't think about the meaning of the shiny label too deeply, but do emotionally react to it. So having #1 award is good no matter what. True. It just depends on how far the discrepancy is between #1 and #2 and 3, right? In the Tabelog case, we don't even know who #2 and 3 is in terms of dinner reservation websites, right? We don't even know who #2 and 3 is. So when we think Tabelog, it's just like the default #1. What is another example? Amusement parks, right? So Tokyo Disneyland or whatever Disneyland would be the default #1 amusement park. Is there even a purpose of having Oricon saying, "Hey, this is the #1 amusement park in Japan," right? Like probably not. What else? What else would be #1 in Japan? Like it would be useful for arcade providers because there's like round 1, there's Taito, there's Gigo, sorry, and all these other brands, right? So it's a little bit unclear who the actual top dog is, right? And because there's a blurry line, I think Oricon would be useful. Yeah. Well, it's up to the company whether they want to use it or not. It's fair, like, yeah. Again, I'm analyzing as I go. I could be just bullshitting, but yeah, take what I say also with a grain of salt. I am analyzing on the fly. So, okay, continue double-digit revenue growth, maintain dividend of 50 yen. Share prices, okay, sub 2%, not very helpful anyways. Did a special dividend of 30, so operating profit 20,000, down though. So they're going to spend more money on advertising, I think is what's happening. So they spent more money on advertising at Kakaku. Kyujin Box. What was their margins for over here for Kakaku? Pretty damn high. Hey, Haley, do you think Kakaku is the go-to price comparison? Like the go-to shop bot, basically? And if they are #1, who's like, is it a scenario where there's a clear winner in that they're #1 and #2 is not seen, or Number 1, 2, and 3 are very competitive, but they are number 1. Which one is it? Do you know? See, this is what's nice about having live stream, is that I can sanity check my assumptions with people who live in Japan. It's great. It's very helpful for my research process. Although that makes me very susceptible to being fucked with, because if you just say you're from Japan and you make up answers, then I get fucked, which is very possible. It's always first in Google search, so up until recently I would say yeah, but I think the number of people who price hunt is going down. I see. So they're doing a good job with their SEO then, right? It's a self-reinforcing thing, right? So because if people keep going to Kakaku.com, it's a self-reinforcing thing. The Google algorithm will notice that more people are using that one or going to that website for the price comparison feature. And if that's the case, then they automatically take up the top spot just through organic. You know. Let's Googling AI/Insta. Wait, so how would someone price comparison on Insta? Or just saying like, oh, people will just buy stuff based off Instagram ads? Is that what you're saying? Japanese people love Amazon. Yeah, because of the free shipping and yeah. Okay, so great. So we know in the product portfolio they have 2 number 1s, right? They have number 1 in their Shopbot. They have number 1 in their Tabelog restaurant referral. So in consumer goods referral, number 1 in their restaurant referral, number 1. Now they want to be number 1 in actually, let me ask you this. Are they number 1 in their HR? Or are they basically the number 1? But I know that another HR company in Japan, they own Indeed. So I don't think they're number 1. But are they number 1 for HR? Or what is their ranking, would you say? Well, it's number 1 according to Oricon in terms of satisfaction. Customer satisfaction, number 1. You know what? I can actually search this up. That's the great thing about this, actually. Because I know that Oricon, I know their ranking. Give me one sec. Oricon ranking. Hold on. I have to take the long route. I don't remember exactly what their. That's not it. Give me one sec. I need to figure this out. This is customer satisfaction survey. They have a ranking website. Customer satisfaction ranking. Ranking search. Wait, they're number 1. Yesterday I saw something different from this website. Where's our 2025? There we go. Okay, I need to copy this into my Excel. Oricon customer satisfaction survey ranking website. Okay. What is this? This is job finding, so human resource. Okay, number 1 job search site in Japan. Nursing career change, SMS. Career change. High class, middle class job change. JAC recruitment. Temporary employment site in Japan. Temporary employment. Okay, where the fuck are they anyways? Kakaku. Job information service. Job box. Job information service. We're extremely grateful to be ranked number 1 overall in the job information service category, as well as in all evaluation categories. Under the brand message, your tomorrow is packed in. Jobbox aims to provide services that cater to job seekers with various needs, regardless of occupation or employment status. To mark the 10th anniversary of the service's launch, we also carried out a brand renewal in January 2025. As the job market and employment environment continue to change, we'll continue to work hard to expand our services so that job seekers can find the right job for them. Job information service. What the fuck does that even mean? Career change makes sense. Recruitment agent makes sense. Factory manufacturing dispatch. All good, all good, all good. Thanks for tuning in, Haley. Oh, Kakaku's number one. Thank you, Palestove. Is number one, no obvious competitor. No, nice. So they have, okay. Number one and two of them, the job one seems like it's not number one because I see in Japan in a lot of these categories, like in Japan, you know, like wantonly is nowhere to be seen in any of this, right? Job box. Let me turn off that and see if there's a different translation I can invoke in the ChatGPT. Of course, my Japanese not very good. Job information service or job listing service. It refers to a service that provides job postings, employment opportunities, or recruitment information such as a job board, job search sites, or staffing service. I don't get it. What is this category? But what their favorite account is pushing. Sorry, I'm not understanding what you said here. Yeah, but what their favorite account is pushing. I'm not really sure what you're saying here. Yeah, so job search site, the best job search site is in Japan. Best career job site is SMS. Best high-end middle-class job change is JAC. So if you're in IT, probably JAC. Curious, Haley, when you come back, if you do decide to come back, or you can come back at a later date, you can comment in the actual video, have you tried JAC? Temporary employment work is in Japan, which overlaps with what Kakaku does, entry-level jobs. Temporary employment site. Temporary employment site. How come there's two temporary employment sites here? We are honored to be ranked number one in the customer satisfaction rankings for temporary employment recruitment sites. Temporary employment. We're extremely honored to have been selected as number one in customer satisfaction in the ranking of temporary employment recruitment sites. Literally the same exact wording here. I don't know what the hell is going on there. Whatever. Job hunting agent. Job hunting site. Reverse recruitment type job hunting service. Staffing agency. Factory manufacturing dispatch. Job information service. But then how did they say it? They're number one in satisfaction, number one in job information services. Just like providing information. Oh, okay. Job information selected by 7,850 users who actually use the service. Job information service ranking. Characteristics of, an initial survey on one of the largest scales in Japan. The ranking was based on a survey of 7,850 users who actually use the service and involved a thorough comparison of 23 surveyed companies. Looking back, I think it was good that I used Jobbox because my current part-time job is a trustworthy place to work. Trusted data service. Okay. Overview of survey. Okay, list number of companies, number of people. Okay, a web service that posts job information meets all the following criteria. It is possible to apply directly on the web page or app. It handles job listings nationwide. It handles job listings for multiple employment types, industries, and occupations, excluding employment type. It is not limited to specific user attributes, excluding gender. Okay, questions. Overall satisfaction, evaluation items. Thoughts on using the service. Good points, bad points. Willingness to recommend to others. Reasons for willingness to recommend to others. You have a supervisor for the supervision. Okay, guys, it's getting a little dark. I'm going to turn on the light real quick. Okay, let's see. People who have applied for and worked in a job posted on a job information site via a web page or app within the past 3 years. So it has to be relevant. People between the ages of 15 to 69. Between the time period of November to January 2024 2025. Oh, they have multiple survey periods. For other questions. They have other questions. Okay, question ranking definitions. So I guess if it is possible to apply it on the web page or an app, so omni-channel or ease of application, I guess. Handles job listings nationwide, so regardless of where you are, it has job postings. It handles job listings for multiple employment types, industries, and occupations. So reach, so number of industries that it covers. Okay, so question content: gender, place of residence, overall satisfaction, intention to recommend to others, factors that others recommend, main forms of use and combination, experiences, site and apps used, employment period, good points, bad points, reasons for recommending to others, age, people living together, evaluation items, intention to reuse, occupation, site usage status, how to use job search websites, employment status before and after employment. What they value, what they're dissatisfied. I'm still kind of confused about like what exactly they mean by job information service. We examined customer satisfaction from various angles, from ease of use of the website and app to ease of application. There are also plenty of free answers, which as their impressions of using the service, good points and bad points. How can we provide a service that continues to be chosen? We provide the information required for a job information service. Basic survey results. Oh wow. Sample. I guess this is a older thing, right? Probably. Or is something from a different category that okay, they don't have the years. A lot of the figures are taken out. Some correlation stuff. Sample reports. Okay. I feel like a weird category. I don't really know what they mean by number one job information. Just how informative it is, maybe. It's a weird category. You know, it's hard to, exactly pinpoint what they mean by that. Yeah. Okay. Okay, next. Okay, Kyujin Boss continue to drive. Okay, so Kakaku continue to develop and operate an efficient organizational structure while formulating strategies to drive full-scale growth from next fiscal year onward. Aim to sustain strong growth by expanding online reservations, including services for inbound travelers. This is very good. So this can allow revenue to continue to grow because of inbound travelers. And if they charge 1,200 yen to, book a table, right? Like, I don't even know what the cut is. Like, how much does Tabelog get out of the 1,200 yen? Is it like 900 yen goes to a restaurant? They keep 300 yen? What is the split looking like there? Kyojin Box. Continue to drive strong revenue growth by strengthening investments aimed at improving brand recognition and reinforcing the sales structure. So they're going to spend more on marketing, right, to be number one, and reinforcing the sales structure. Like how to sell to these companies putting out the job listings. Incubation. Promote the development of efficient structures for existing businesses in LI plus PMI. Continue efforts towards new business development and execution of M&A. So I think these are businesses that are smaller in the spectrum of sales and operating profit, and where they haven't attained number one status yet, or a decent enough size, let's put it. Yeah. Appendix. Management indicators. ROE 40% or more. Okay, they want operating margin of 40% or more. They did recently spend a lot of money for Kyojin Box in marketing, so they could probably get back surface above 40%. Actively pursue growth investments while providing certain level shareholder returns. Actively pay dividends twice a year. Payout ratio of 50% or more. How much cash do they have? A decent amount. Quite a decent amount. Growth investments. Expand business into new areas by leveraging existing business assets. Horizontally expand business into new industries using know-how from existing business. Investments in R&D related to advanced technologies. So yeah, as I said, their business model is focused on referrals, right? They don't own any products. They don't own any inventory. It's all about connecting consumer to some type of business or service, right? And there's infinite amount of applications for that. What I think that they're missing from their business model is they have these brands that they've established, right? That is called Tabelog, Kakaku, Kyojin. They're all separate bands, right? But they're under the Kakaku type of, holding company. But I'm pretty sure people who use Tabelog don't know that Kakaku owns them, or very few, unless you're an investor. So I like the Oricon approach to this, in that you have Oricon customer satisfaction surveys, you have Oricon music charts. It's all under the same brand, meaning when someone hears Oricon, be like, oh, I know that from this. So that's related, right? Whereas if you have Tabelog, it's like you can't transfer that over to something else. Right? So that might be something that is, I don't know. I don't know enough about the company yet. Maybe people do know Kakaku, but what I'm saying there is, could they have made a brand where they don't have to start from scratch with every single product or service, right? Because Kakaku.com, right, and Kakaku.com is one thing, right? Like, that's one business, right? So it seems like every single time they make a referral business, they have to start from scratch. Either that, or they buy an existing business and grow that one into number one. But that's hard, right? It's difficult to have number ones, right? It's easier to have a number one and build a brand and then leverage that into something else, which is what Oricon has done in their customer satisfaction surveys. They've also done a good job with their Tabelog, though. They have done a good job with that, and so yeah, the reason why I like Oricon's business model more is you're ranking businesses, and because you're ranking them, like that has an unlimited application, meaning you're not limited by the number of businesses you can put in an Oricon trademark on, right? Whereas Tabelog is table, like table reservation, it's only for restaurants, right? Unless they get, oh, well, I'll take that back a little bit. They could create Tabelog and use that brand image for other things, but it'll be difficult. But they can. They can. So you could do, what could you do? What else requires reservations? Tabelog, like some type of beauty treatment, right? So like for hairstylists, yeah, actually that could be one. Tabelog for hairstylists. So it'd be like, so it wouldn't be table, it would be a chair, right? Because when you go to a barber shop or a hair salon, you sit in a chair, so it'd be chair log, for example. That sounds bad, but let's say they make a chair log, right? For right, so something log, right? So they could add the log IP. They add a log IP to these other businesses where they can rank them. Yeah. Expand business into new areas by leveraging existing assets. Horizontally expand business into new industries using know-how from existing businesses. Invest in R&D related to advanced technologies. Okay. High ROE. Nice. Increasing dividends. Oh, but they had a special dividend. Can I ignore that? Number of directly employed employees. Okay, so they have been investing in more employees. There's some cost cutting. Maintain at this level. 19% young. 39. So still a older workforce. Planning and design of websites, sales, engineers. Okay. Okay, now they have business overviews. They always do this very late. Okay, so Kakaku refer users to online malls and shops or manufacturers by providing information such as product specs, prices, and supporting the decision making of users considering to purchase a product. Service refer users to service providers by providing information such as service details and fees, and supporting the decision making of users considered to apply for a service. Advertising, creating and distributing various advertisements mainly on the Kakaku website. Okay, so insurance, solicitation and mediation of life and non-life insurance. So shopping, durables, consumables, other. Service, personal finance, telecommunications, automotive, advertising, banner ads, tie-in ads, search-based ads. Insurance, okay. Commission income based on clicks and sales performance. Commission income based on applications for various services. Advertising revenue. Commission income from life and non-life insurance. Yeah. Monthly users, 40 million. I'm curious how that trend has changed over time. Users by group. Teenagers, people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. I would agree that this is probably used by people who are very cost conscious, right? So people who are in their 60s makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Kakaku.com. So revenues has actually slightly declined. So they're number one in terms of their Shopbot feature, but they're not. The revenues are declining. So a couple of things could be pointing to this, where people who are very cost conscious, people in their 60s and 50s, or who grew up with parents who are more cost conscious, would really go out of their way to do this type of thing. But the so if the next generation, people in their teens or young adults, are who are just habitually less cost conscious, right, because of upbringing or whatever, that could negatively affect them. I also think that when people are earning more money or have more disposable income, they tend to be less cost conscious. So it could be also a function of the economy as well, whereas like sometimes you kind of have to be a penny pincher, sometimes you don't. Shopping service is their biggest industry. Advertising is kind of small. Insurance is kind of pretty stable, except for in Q3. I don't know what happened over here. Everything seemed to have gone up. Well, insurance doubled for some reason, and most things increased, but these ones stay around the same. Insurance doubled for some reason. That's interesting. Shopping, business revenue, durables, consumables. So mainly durables. That would be like appliances. Breakdown of business revenue. Service business revenue. So personal finance, telecom, automotive, other. Personal finance. Wow, that much for personal finance. Tabelog. Support restaurants to attract customers through priority display and standard search results in Tabelog, and providing added information such as photos and descriptions to convey the appeal. Wow, 100 million active users. Wait, 100 million monthly users. That's literally like the majority of Japan. Because there's 120 people in Japan. Of course, you're also including people from tourists, right? So people from China, let's say, with the WeChat thing. But that is impressive. Wait, hold on. If monthly users 100 million, how? Wait, hold on. Something's not adding up here real quick. Number of online reservations is only 30 million. Oh, so they mean users as people who actually just visit the site, maybe. Not necessarily what I'm thinking. Monthly unique users are counted as a number of browsers that visit a site. Oh, that's definitely high, because you can have, for certain browsers, operating systems, there may be instances in which users who revisit a site after a certain period are counted multiple times. Double counting is as a side effect of high-speed loading in mobile web pages, and mechanical access by third parties. Web scraping bots are eliminated to the fullest extent possible. Tabelog support and AMP accelerated mobile pages and in users by age group. Yeah, I'm not surprised that the users of Tabelog are weighted towards an older crowd, because they have the most income in terms of being able to make a reservation for fine dining, let's say. Restaurant reservations, online restaurant reservation service, premium users, subscription-based service for users, while benefits such as coupons and being able to access rankings based on user ratings on mobile websites. Wow. Advertising, creating and distributing advertisements on Tabelog, target users for high interest in gourmet food. In addition, we provide operational support for restaurants such as in-store mobile ordering, an online reservation ledger, Tabelog Note, and a procurement service, Tabelog. This is such a hack in that so dinner, they get $2 per person, Income from fees based on number of customer referrals. Lunch $100, 1 yen, so $1 or $2. Dude, they basically, this is a tax on every single fucking restaurant in Japan. That's above maybe average cost of, let's say, 3,000 yen maybe. Restaurant advertising. Income from fixed monthly fees based on service provided. Income from user fee. Wow. No, this is just a tax on restaurants, bro. They just became a huge tax on restaurants. Like, you kind of have to go through them. If you don't go through them, you're missing out. This is a terrific business. This is great business. What the heck? Sorry, I'm just reading a message from in my DMs from a viewer. Okay. Tabelog, revenue by business. Restaurant advertising. That continues to increase. Nice. Restaurant reservations. That also continues to increase, which is also very nice. Premium users membership. Wow, they have a membership thing too. Okay, that's kind of stable. Hasn't gone up, hasn't really gone down. Advertising. That could increase over time, I feel. Yeah. Because there are some restaurants that are just fully booked all the time, and then they're just using Tabelog strictly for the reservation service, maybe? Just for the customer base. Because if they have 100 million users, think about it. If you have a ranking, think of your fine dining restaurant, right? You have 100 million unique visitations to a website, and you're listed as a gold star restaurant. Think how good business will be once you're in those rankings. Gold, silver, or bronze, right? You're going to do well. Especially with the influx of tourism in Japan. Number of contracted restaurants. Tabelog, number of contracted restaurants in a quarter. Thousands of restaurants. Okay, contracted for advertising has gone back up. Restaurant reservations have also gone back up. Okay. Number of online reservations, very good. Yeah, this is a license to print money at this point. Nothing is out competing Tabelog at this point, unless they do something really damaging to their. Okay, the only way Tabelog can go down is if they do something really dumb in not accurately reflecting what customers truly believe are the best restaurants. As long as they become an unbiased source for reflecting exactly what the population thinks are the best restaurants, they won't go down. Yeah. Provide a comprehensive search engine for job information referral of job seekers to job sites and hiring companies by supporting job seekers to find a job that matches their desired conditions out of more than 10 million job postings. Well, they have technically 20 million based off of what this says here. Includes listings posted on Online job boards and companies' recruitment sites as well as information directly posted by employers on TYO board. Listings are not limited to a certain area, employment type, or job category. Hyojin box crawls and posts information from job boards, employers, websites. Oh, so they're kind of like a, what do you call this? They're kind of like a one-stop shop for all restaurants. Sorry, for all restaurants, for all job listings, right? So they might not have a, like, for example, if you're like a bank, right, and you might have posted a job posting on your website, but you haven't gone through them. Hyojin Box will actually just do it for you, maybe, and redirect you over to that website, potentially. Listing ads, paid, preferred display in search results. Yeah, so if you, let's say you're looking for a bank teller, right, and because you're in a hurry to find a teller, you might pay them to be the #1 search result. Business model: income from commissions based on number of users referred to job sites and employers' websites, number of clicks through paid listing ads. Okay, so it's variable. Clients, job sites, including employment agencies and temporary staff services, employers. Okay. Monthly users, 12.37 million. That's a lot. Used by devices. People look at this through their smartphone? Wow, I'm surprised PC usage is so low for this type of work. Age groups. Well, the 10 to 19 age group is larger than the 20 to 29 age group. That's surprising. Oh, no. The 20 to 29 is higher than the 30 to 39. Okay. I think. Wow, and the highest age group is 60 plus. That's surprising to me. Monthly unique users are counted as a number of browsers that visit the site for certain browsers, operating systems. Okay, this is the same thing as before. There may be instances in which users who revisit a site after a certain period are counted multiple times. Double counting is a side effect. So this is not exactly accurate. Yeah. Continuous revenue climb. That's great. Number of monthly users, 40, 60, 75. Oh, it's grown quite a bit. Number of monthly users, revenue per user. Nice. Incubation. So they have a lot of different businesses here. Residential real estate website, dynamic package, reservation platform, price comparison for highway overnight buses and bus tours, comparison site for cheapest bus, airline, and bullet train tickets, travel review comparison site, online travel information and hotel reservation media, lifestyle media, home service matching platform, online database for movies and showtimes, online media for car enthusiasts. Yeah, one thing I don't like is they're not leveraging their brand for anything. They're starting from scratch, except for the Kakaku thing here, right? I wish that they would apply that Kakaku logo, or it's hard to use Tabelog. I think that's very unique. Tabelog is very unique. But yeah, I feel like they should use some type of logo that is in relation to Kakaku, like established brands that they already have kind of market dominance, and apply that in a way that's creative to inform people like, hey, this is under that umbrella, right? So it could be like Kakaku residential, Kakaku travel, Kakaku movies, Kakaku, you know what I mean? I don't actually know what Kakaku actually, the kanji actually means, but maybe a Kakaku kind of like puts them into kind of like a basket, maybe, sorry, a niche. So let's see here. Revenues have kind of increased and flatlined. Real estate has increased, dropped a little from this to this year. Travel. Oh, travel has done well. Travel has increased. Lifestyle. Oh, lifestyle has dropped a lot. Lifestyle is lifestyle / entertainment. Yeah. So these ones have gone down. Lifestyle media. Online media for car enthusiasts. Online media for movies. Yeah. I can see how these would be kind of difficult to go into. Okay, cool. That's nice. Well, going back, if we're to summarize, let's summarize this really quick, right? I do need to do a sum of parts analysis, but there were 5 billion, right? 5 billion, 15 times EBIT, 14 times EBIT, 24 times PE. Give me a sec. Let me think about this. So enterprise value right now of around 470. Sorry, right? Let's call it 500. Oh, that's not right. Minus 30. 490, something like that. So let's quickly take a look at operating income. $490. Is it possible for them to make 49? When will they make 49? There has to be analyst coverage on this. I don't believe there's no analyst coverage. Oh, sales expected to increase substantially. EBIT around the same. They haven't fully tapped their restaurant potential. I don't think so. They've tapped a lot of it, but I don't think they've fully tapped it yet. Definitely lots of operating leverage here. All right, 2022, 9.4, increase 40. So they increase a lot in ad spend here. Not surprising. They want to secure their status. Incubation has pretty good margins, like 25%. This is 33%. This has, oh, this is just printing money. It's like 50 something percent. This is also close to 50%. So the main growth driver is how would you value Tabelog? Adjustment of segment income. Adjustment of segment income includes corporate company-wide expenses. Okay, that's fair. What multiple would you ascribe to Tabelog? That's the thing. How has their revenues increased over time? They don't have annual here. That's something I have to look at. That's something I have to look at. It's hard to tell right now. What would the company be worth if it increases? Because it's very scalable. They already have the infrastructure. Operating leverage is just going to keep rising. It's already at 50 something percent. It could even hit 70%, right, at this trajectory. Because nothing they do is, like, it's all referral. So if they have #1 market share for restaurant reservations, they're going to tax every single restaurant that requires a reservation to get in. %, increase 5. I don't know what the growth trajectory is. So the way to look at this company is, what's the growth trajectory of the revenues? Where do we see operating leverage taking the revenue? Affecting the profitability over time? 50% segment profit. 30 million online reservations. Online reservations increased by Q4 a total of around 30 to 40%. They charge 100 yen for lunch, 200 yen for dinner. That's all high margin, right? If you think about it. I generally don't see that declining though. And they've only tapped into WeChat, right? The WeChat. So if they can tap into tourists making Tabelog, then what is this multiple worth? What's the multiple for this company worth? It's got to be something impressive. Yeah, they already have something, so they're gonna create more stuff like this. This is just gonna be. I wish I could say where I think this is gonna go. Hard to say. Yeah, I need more time to figure this out. But this is a quality company. Definite quality company, and something you should definitely add to your watch list in terms of. Like, if it drops to 1400, it's like a no-brainer. Like, 1400 from that level. I mean, that's 2023. That's not gonna happen. 1600, 2024. 16 times PE is cheap for sure. Right now it's around 26 PE, 25 PE, around that range. You know what? I actually think 20 PE would be cheap for this company. I generally think so. Why are the price targets so damn low? Analyst estimates, price targets. What are their historical price targets here? 5 year, 10 year. Let's take a look. No, don't tell me your price target was literally 2000. Okay. So they had it at 35 times. Hold. Okay. It's not a strong buy, but definitely something to put in your watch list. Okay. Thanks everybody. It's been 2 hours for live stream. We went through one company, but the thing is, this was very interesting. Like, learning about this company was very interesting, and covering it, because sometimes when you do stock research, you kind of just go through this tangent, but this is a good quality tangent, and that you realize and understand what type of businesses exist, and that informs your decision on different valuations, right? My extraction from looking at Kakaku is that they don't exactly compete with Oricon, in that Oricon is not going to come out with a restaurant ranking, right? It just can't compete. I mean, it could do that. I'm not saying it can't. It would be actually a very low cost, like low risk, high return type of thing for them. But it informs me what happens when you become a number one in multiple different how to put it, ranking categories, right? And what type of business models are available. So I still feel that after Kakaku, they don't really overlap in a lot of things. In fact, Kakaku has used them for their Kyojin box website in terms of HR websites. So currently I don't see Kakaku as a direct competitor. They're kind of like an indirect competitor. Yeah, because Kakaku is in the referral business. Oricon is a little bit in the referral business, but they do rankings, which in turn leads to trademark usage, which in turn leads to this referral. So I'm still bullish on Oricon after looking at Kakaku. So yeah. So yeah, that ends my stream today on covering Kakaku. I think. Do you want to play 25 times PE for this? I wonder how many investment securities they have on the balance sheet. That's something I could look into. I mean, just quickly look at that before I end the stream, and then we can and then we can go. Do they have English filings? Financial data book. Balance sheet. Wow, they have everything from 2020. That's awesome. This is great for investors. Really dope. Wait, 50 billion. So this is a bit late. Hold on a second. That is late. This is, yeah, that's late. 50. Yeah, we aren't sure of investment securities here. Bonds and more. Oh, none. None. It is no more debt now? Hold on. Oh, they have lease liabilities. Lease liabilities. That's pretty much it. Yeah, it is lease liabilities. Okay, they kind of factored in lease liabilities as debt. Still interested in all their segment breakdowns. Nice. Wow. Very detailed. Great. You can definitely use more analysis here if you want to. Very nice. Very shareholder friendly. I like that. Do they have... Do you want financial results though? Because if they break down... No. So no investment securities. No. Okay, yeah. What they state is what they state. Paid off debt. Yeah, so minus 50 off of current market cap. So 480. Still around the same. Still around the same. Okay, yeah. So company looks, it's hard to say if they're undervalued, if they're fairly valued, or overvalued, but it would be nice if the market crashes for this company. So okay, let's just say it would be nice if this company's stock price were to crash, and I can get in on a lower PE. Like 15 PE is a no-brainer. 20, I don't know if that's a little overpaying or not. Probably is okay, given they have a wrap on Tablog. To determine that, you have to do more analysis on Tablog, so that would be another time. But yeah, thanks for everyone for engaging. Thanks Pelt Stove, thanks Haley, thanks Leonard. Who else was in here today? Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody that's ever chatted in the chat. Yeah, great discussion today, and learned a lot from people who are, from Haley's comment, who is actually situated in Japan. So that's really awesome. So yeah, that ends the stream just for this company. I might do another stream after taking a little break. And yeah, we'll move on and look at other ones. So stay tuned for today. I might do another stream before the day ends. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. And remember to like, subscribe, and comment. And follow me on Twitter, Substack,